Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my June wrap up. I read 6 books in June. 6 books? 6 books? I read 6 books in June. Not the best reading month for me. I usually read about 10. That's an average for me. But the books that I read were very good. There is still one that I'm currently reading, and as of filming, we are on the 5th of July. So yeah, I'm not actually reading it, I'm listening to it on audio. But anyway, let's get into the books that I read in June. So the first one that I read in June was Graceland by Bethan Roberts. I read this as part of Simon Savage and Melanie Sykes' book club. This was June's pick, and this was astonishingly good. I absolutely loved this. This tells the story of Elvis Presley and his mother Gladys, the relationship that they had and the deep bond that they shared with one another. It goes from a time in Elvis's life when he's a child up until he becomes a global star, and then the death of his mother and how that affects him and the way he is, this was just glorious. The writing in this was just beautiful. The characters, even though they were based on real life characters, and there's a lot of information about these characters out there, this didn't feel forced. This didn't feel false. The interactions between the characters was so real and so heartfelt. This was funny. This was poignant and sad. I think quite dark in some places as well. I will link Simon and Mel's video down below where they go into more detail on this book. But this was glorious and I adored it. So that's Graceland by Bethan Roberts. The next one is the one that I'm still listening to on audiobook. I haven't listened to it for a few days because I'm lazy, and yeah, what I was doing with this was listening to it for like one track on the audiobook every evening when I went to bed, and that just kind of fell by the wayside because by the time we were going to bed I was knackered, and I'd put the headphones in and I'd fall asleep. I'd have my iPod set to end at the end of the track, but then I'd fall asleep halfway through because I was just so tired. It's Black and British, A Forgotten History by David Olusoga. What I've listened to this so far, what I've listened to of this so far, maybe one of these days I will learn to speak. It's been amazing. This tells the true history of Black British people from the 1700s until I don't know. I don't know when it goes up until. I think it's pretty much like the entirety of the 19th century. It goes up until some of the things that happened in the past that British people were involved in the slave trade and black servants in their homes, and just the brutality was it's just astonishing and horrifying. But this is so beautifully written. There is a BBC series that goes along with this, and I think you can find it on the iPlayer, and it's the same name, Black and British, A Forgotten History by David Olusoga. I will continue to listen to this on audiobook, and I will also read this book at some point in the future. Simon Savage recently said in one of his videos, does anyone buy the physical copy and then listen to it on audiobook? Yes, I do. So yeah, that's that one. The next book that I read was the second part of a 7-part autobiography, and this writer is just her writing is just astonishing. It's just incredible. Maya Angelou, Gathered Together in My Name. This charts the point in her life where she's just had her son. She's gone off to the big city. She gets into scrapes and situations that you would find, just shocking. She becomes a she becomes a madam in a whorehouse. She gets into drugs. She falls in love with inappropriate people who basically screw her over. And there's one that wants to turn her into a prostitute. And yeah, and unfortunately, sadly, he succeeds. Quite groundbreaking for the time that this was written. I think it was in the 70s. And I feel that reading it now, I was quite shocked by what I was reading. So I can't imagine the impact that this had when it first was published. But yeah, it was brilliant, and I will carry on with the rest of the novels in this series. So that's Gathered Together in My Name by Maya Angelou. The next one that I read was for Hannah Tay's book club. So I took part in 2 book clubs this month, and loved both of the books that were chosen. This was June's pick for Hannah Tay's Tay book club, and it's Sula by Toni Morrison. This was just glorious. I don't even have the words to describe this. I loved this. The writing in certain places, and comment down below if you think that I'm being silly by saying this. Like, totally call me out on it. But I felt that in certain places the writing felt almost otherworldly in the descriptions that she wrote down. There's a scene where 2 of the characters are having sex, and she writes that the female in the couple, I think it is Sula, it's Sula and someone's husband, I think. She writes that she wants to scrub off his black skin to get to the gold beneath, and then scrub that off to get to the alabaster beneath that, and then scrub that off to get to the loam beneath that. And I just felt that was just so, I don't know, that's so powerful, so otherworldly. It's the only word that I have to describe it. This was glorious. It tells the story of 2 young women who are friends when they're children. They have a lot of secrets, bad things happen. Sula, one of the friends, she goes away, gets herself an education at college, comes back and starts stealing people's husbands. I think it discusses what it meant to be female and black in America in the early 20th century. And it does it beautifully. And I will read more by Toni Morrison because I love this. So yeah, that was just incredible. Sula by Toni Morrison. Now the next one that I read is a collection of poetry, and it is by an author whose previous book, well, not previous book because this is his first one, who I have read previously, and he wrote The Black Flamingo, which tells the story of a young black gay boy who becomes a drag artist, and his drag name is the Black Flamingo, and that's told in verse, in poetry, and some of the poems in this collection I feel inspired the Black Flamingo, and it's I Am Nobody's Nigger by Dean Atta. I love this. The words in this were so descriptive. You almost felt like you were there. My husband is not a lover of poetry. He doesn't like poetry. I read him some of these and he thoroughly enjoyed them. So that's a testament to how good these poems are, because he's just not into poetry and he really enjoyed these. I love this too, and I hope that Dean Atta writes more and publishes more poetry, because I think this book and The Black Flamingo are his only 2 books that he has out, I think. I will do some digging around on the internet to see if there's any more. But yeah, this was amazing. This discusses what it's like to be a black gay man living in London. It discusses race, racism, sexuality, sex, and yeah, it's dark. It's in places very funny, other places very poignant and sad, and I loved it. It was just glorious. So yeah, that's that one. And the last book that I read in June, you're probably glad that I've got to the last one because I have been rabbiting on as usual. The last one I read was Beastly Tales from Here and There by Vikram Seth. This sort of retells some like fables and childhood stories in a poetic way, and there are very sort of Aesop type fables in here. Indeed, there's one of my favourite all-time fables, which is the Tortoise and the Hare. In that one, the hare loses the race because she's been in a field eating magic mushrooms. But yeah, this was incredible. I love this. It's told in sort of really fast kind of poetry, so it's almost like, I don't know if I'm getting this right or not, but it felt like when I was reading it, you get into a flow and it's almost like a limerick poem. Like everything rhymes and it's just amazing. Yeah. Poetry is not something that I know how to describe. I think for me it's just something that I feel. And I felt this. This was amazing. So yeah, that's Beastly Tales from Here and There by Vikram Seth. Again, another first time read. And won't be my last from this author because I thoroughly enjoyed this. So that is my June wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's a few books here that you may not have heard of, or if you haven't read, you might want to now because of my blabbering on. I'll let you go. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's Graham again, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing it's very windy outside, the wind is coming down the chimney, and you can probably hear it. It sounds like I'm in Kansas and I'm going to land on someone's head and steal her shoes. Anyway. Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel.